Thank you. How about a hand for Jeff and Tracy and Jackie? Man, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little bit hungover. Well, not really anything to be proud of. And I went to a strip club last night, which I hate. Everyone loves these strip clubs. It does nothing for me, you know? I always get peer pressure to go, and I sit there, and you gotta get the lap dances, which that's like the worst part, because it costs a fortune, and it really doesn't do anything for me. It really doesn't. I sat there the whole time. The dancer just kept jamming his dick in my face. I guess this is fun for somebody, maybe, in some theoretical world. Well, folks, look, it's been a tricky couple of days. My mother-in-law came over the other day, and I was really looking at her, because they say you got to look at your mother-in-law. That's what your wife is going to look like when she's old, which is really fucking depressing. You know what I mean? I was just looking at my mother-in-law, and I was just miserable, you know? Just thinking of how long it was going to take before my wife got really, really hot. Don't be ageist. Well, what the hell's happening in the world? A lot of interesting shit. We got Saddam Hussein, huh? And now the trial's got to start. We got to put Saddam Hussein on trial. And I'll tell you this, I really hope he's found guilty. Because, man, that'll be pretty embarrassing if he's not, don't you think? Oh, shit, sorry. You seem like such a dick from a distance. You gotta Now that Johnny Cochran's a hell of a lawyer. I never saw that one coming. Who knew that many words rhyme with genocide? That was an impressive display. The news has been pretty depressing lately. Of course, terrorism, you think about terrorism all the time. The other day I'm teaching my son about terrorism, and then he goes, but Daddy, how come the bad men hate us so much? How come those bad men hate us? How sad is that? I actually almost started crying, you know? Because he's 18. What kind of a moron am I raising? I don't know why they hate us, dummy. Why don't you read the paper and form your own opinions? Which you won't do, because as Americans, we don't read papers. We don't know what goes on in other countries. You ever talk to a European? Sometimes you have no choice. Have you ever talked to one of these people? You know, you're trying to learn to ski, or you're trying to fuck a nanny or something. Sometimes you gotta talk to a European. They know more about America than we know about ourselves. I don't know if their schools are better, or they just don't smoke pot at lunchtime, or I don't know what goes on. They're such smart bastards. You know, these Europeans, like, you know, actually the U.S. could have lost its independence during the War of 1812. But you're like, all right, I guess. You're trying to think of the one thing you know about Europe. You're like, oh, French chicks got hairy pits, right? I was talking to this Arab guy the other day, and he said, why do the Americans always support the Israelis? He said, it's probably because in America the Jews have all the money and they control the media, which is just ridiculous and paranoid, and really only part of it. Americans don't really know what goes on between the Israelis and the Palestinians, so basically Americans support the Israelis for one reason, because the Israelis never do this. That's really like 95% of it, you know what I mean? Because the average American's like, shit, I don't really know what's going on over there, but I don't like that. I know that. I'm going with the team that ain't doing that. That I don't like. This guy told me it sucks for him. He's always stereotyped as a terrorist. Whenever he travels, people assume he's a terrorist. And that does suck, but you know, this is America. Every ethnic group has a stereotype that they've had to overcome at some point in their history. I mean, I'm half Colombian and half Spanish. I don't get upset every time people assume that I'm a bullfighter. My little cross to bear. I can't be seen with a sword or a cape. You don't think that hurts me deep down inside? You don't think I'd love to wear my skin-tight pink capri pants to be dazzling on them? It's complicated. Of course, the big news now, the porn stoppage. They shut down production of the porn industry because of an AIDS scare. An AIDS scare. Did they just figure it out? I mean, I don't know what do you know? What do you mean, no? It can't happen. What do you mean? What's that? Look the other way. Look the other way. Technically, that's technically not the way to avoid AIDS. But you don't have to look right at it to get it. Just you might want to keep that in mind on your next Haiti trip. Look, the whole point is that who knew they still made that much porn? Like, they stopped because of an AIDS scare. Apparently, somebody read a paper from 1986 and was like, holy shit, we gotta stop drinking buckets of jizz. Apparently, this is not good. But they shut down all the porn industry, and it's actually affecting the economy in the San Fernando Valley in California. And it's like, how much porn? You know, do they need, is this that big an industry? It's like, isn't there enough porn already shot? It's like there's trillions of hours of it. They're not coming up with new angles or, you know, it's not like they're incorporating current events. We gotta really bring in all the current events. Oh, they're fucking because they're upset about Fallujah. I mean, there's millions of hours of porn already out there. Why do they keep making more shit? It's not, you know, it's not like they're using the latest techniques and not having orgies on tidal waves crashing into Manhattan, you know. You only need it like 4 minutes at a time. How much shit do you need? And they actually, you know, I saw some fucking animal the other day driving around in a big SUV with the screens down watching porn in the middle of the day, watching porn on his SUV. You know, I would never do that, ever. Because what if you get in an accident, you know, and then the porn is still going, and the whole car's total, but the porn's going. Now you bleed to death because the paramedics are waiting for the money shot, and Dirty Debbie's going, hey fellas, over here. It's sad, let's face it. And the change of seasons is what gets me. I just get so goddamn riled up during a change of seasons. It's just too sexual. You know, the other day I was in Macy's department store. I actually saw a sales girl putting panties on a mannequin. I couldn't have been more aroused if Britney Spears was sitting on my face. You know what I mean? It was like, that is just the hottest shit ever. That's the kind of savages men are. Like, you're sitting there looking at a mannequin, like, oh, fuck yeah. And the sales girl just looks at me like, oh, what's wrong with you? And it wasn't even a whole mannequin. It was like a torso mannequin, you know? No arms, no legs. I'm like, shit, I can spin her around. That'll be great. No head to bitch at. You know, you do sit there. You gotta hold on. That is a good woman. It's just too much, man. And you walk around like just so frustrated all the time, and the clothes are getting too much, too over that. And these girls are walking. I was in the mall the other day, I saw these girls walking around with juicy and tasty written right across their ass. You walk around in these sweatpants that says juicy and tasty right on the ass, which is actually kind of helpful because you can't always tell just by looking. Hairy, crabby, you know, you gotta have the whole thing. You're gonna go labeling. Yeah. It's not easy, folks, is all I'm trying to say. I walked into a glass wall the other day. Full speed, man. I was walking full speed, and I slammed right into a glass wall. I busted up my nose, it's still bruised. I actually hurt my balls. It was that kind of like collision. And I had to turn around and walk away, and I'm like bleeding, but I had to pretend I was fine. And you know, the worst part of that is I still haven't fully, like, the world feels very dangerous to me. Every step I take, I'm like, And it's kind of made me really sympathize with people who've been hit by lightning. Because once you've been hit by lightning, anything has to seem possible after that. You know, because that's sort of the barometer you use to gauge other dangerous activities by. Like, man, I don't know, I'm kind of scared of flying. Dude, you're 10,000 times more likely to be hit by lightning. Well, I've been hit by lightning, so... Thanks. I guess anything is possible. I don't really understand why we always do that. Like, they have these, like, they make you feel better about one dangerous thing by comparing it to another dangerous thing. So it's like, great, two things to be nervous about. It's like, hey, I don't like to ride the subway late at night. Dude, you're much more likely to be raped right in your own apartment. Especially on Saturdays. Is tonight a Saturday? Ooh, that's a bad, Saturdays are bad. Well, I don't know. It's West Nile virus season coming up, so get out there, enjoy the weather. These animals are out of control. The West Nile, the monkeypox, the turtle cooties, the mad cow. Holy shit. West Nile virus. You know how they know it's coming back? Every year they know it comes back because they find these dead birds somewhere. They find these dead birds like, oh, it died of the West Nile virus. Who finds these birds? Because, you know, when I was a kid, we used to find dead birds all the time. But we didn't take them in for autopsies. We picked them up and we threw them at the gay kid. That's what we did. I'm not proud of it. I'm not saying it was a good thing. We didn't even know what gay was. We just knew he ran like a girl when he threw dead shit at us, so we did it. Which, by the way, is one of the reasons I don't see how you can't support gay rights. Because it's like, you know, from the time you're a kid, there's the one kid that runs like a girl and you do dead shit at him, and, you know, he's not choosing that. That's the fucking way you are. What are you going to do? You're going to deny them rights? Oh, they shouldn't get married. You don't want to, you know, you spoil the sanctity of marriage. Have you seen the toothless freaks that are allowed to be married? You get married by a dude in an Elvis costume in Vegas at 4 in the morning. Oh, it's so sacred. Don't fuck with that. You know, not only do I think gay guys should be allowed to get married, I think they should have to get married at some point, because I'm tired of their happy-go-lucky lifestyles. I really am. I'm tired of walking by them at sidewalk cafes looking all buffed out, planning their next trip to Paris, meanwhile I'm home and being married to a dude would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, it would be awesome. It's another guy. You understand each other. There'd be no bitching or nagging. It's just another dude, you know? I mean, it actually wouldn't be so terrible. You watch sports all day, you know, ice dancing, whatever the hell it is, but still, it would be great. Other than the taking of the ass part, that would be a little bit of a drawback. But, you know, whatever. In the last year, I met like 3 women whose husbands left them because they were gay. Which, first of all, these women, you talk about no gaydar, you know, you meet their husbands, they're like, wow, this is going to be a great picnic. Yeah. Or you know what, a lot of these guys probably weren't even gay. Just being married is such a fucking nightmare that these guys are probably like, you know what, I'd rather take it in the ass than stay married for another year. I'll be honest with you. Monkeypox. The monkeypox. People in the Midwest getting the monkeypox from playing with their prairie dogs. When I first heard you can get a disease from playing with your prairie dog, I thought, well, that's a weird euphemism. You know, I thought playing with my prairie dog was the best way to avoid diseases. But it turns out they meant the real animal, the actual prairie dog animal. And within 3 days, they tracked it down. They're like, well, this prairie dog had shared a cage with an African rat from Namibia. You could see from the bill of lading that it came from a part of Namibia where the monkeypox was rampant. Within 3 days, they knew exactly where the monkeypox started. Where's Osama bin Laden? Where are these weapons of mass destruction? We can't find any of that shit, but we find a gopher with the sniffles in a terrarium in Madison. Do you even remember Osama bin Laden? Wasn't he important? Wasn't it about Osama bin Laden? At a certain point, we gotta get bin Laden. He's public enemy #1. And then the new season of American Idol came on, and we're like, ah, fuck it. I mean, when did these conservatives who believe that the government's not capable of anything all of a sudden start believing we can read? Nobody's ever genuinely shocked them. They always do it in predictable ways. If she really wanted to shock, she could have taken a chainsaw right to Justin Timberlake's head. That would have been really shocking. You know, we'd be like, fuck, did she just kill Justin Timberlake? God damn! You know, she could have, don't blame him, he wasn't in on it, he didn't know. I was just making a statement against illiteracy. You can't read if you don't have a head, right? I think she was just trying to compete with Michael, and she was trying to show that just like Michael, she could do sexually wrong things with hairless little boys. And wow, why would you groan? Some people are still defending Michael Jackson. What the fuck has to happen before it's like, first of all, this dude's got an amusement park, a petting zoo, a llama, monkeys, and he's done everything but set glue traps at a preschool, for Christ's sake. And you know, he's really making it hard on the other pedophiles, by the way. Imagine, how do you compete with that shit? If you live near Michael Jackson, you gotta rely on your wits, maybe you got a van if you're lucky, and they're like, no. Michael's got a monkey. I think I'm heading over there. It's shocking. It's getting where everything is so in your face. It's getting to the point now I can't. I mean, if you used to see a bra strap, that was like enough to get you crazy. Now everyone's walking around with the thongs hanging. You know, now it's like I gotta see the Olsen twins in a snuff film just to even take a second look. You know, these jeans that are cut mid-vagina. How much lower are these jeans gonna go? These girls are walking around like clit huggers, for Christ's sake. They're like, you know, you see them in the store like, here, do these jeans make my clit look fat? I got a really good date. I think I'm just going to be an old crank. That's my problem. I'm just going to be a broken down old man. I was watching MTV Cribs the other day, and I thought, man, I hadn't seen the show. I thought, like, oh, I'm 150 years old. There's nothing like watching some 18-year-old rapper taking on a tour of his palace. You know, they would show off their houses. You know, this house has like stripper poles and media rooms and all kinds of waterfalls and shit. I'm 38 years old. I'm sitting on my bed/sofa. That's great. Good to see Pimp Daddy's doing so well for himself. Got 18 bathrooms, all made of imported Italian marble from a 14th century Franciscan monastery. Meanwhile, I'm pissing in the sink. My crazy wife's locked herself in our one bathroom, and she won't come out, so I admit that I have a drinking problem. Hang in there, Buttercup, because it's going to be a long wait, right? When you get out, you might want to watch a little MTV Cribs, because I noticed Ludacris's bitches weren't busting his balls, and what he does. Having bitches is great. Sir, you look like maybe more of a wife-girlfriend kind of guy. I mean, you gotta just get a bunch of bitches. It's much better. You know, I was watching BT. You watch those rap videos? Bitches are the shit. They're always in a good mood. They just dance around in their thongs and their high heels, and you get to smoke bongs and play the Xbox with your boys. It's never like, all you do is sit there. You gotta stop playing that video game. We gotta need a bigger place. And bitches are just fucking dancing around, shaking that ass, always happy. You know, if they get annoyed, you just turn the music up more. The bitches just dance more. Bitches are great. I am getting to be an old crackpot. That's the problem. It just happens instantly. I mean, I felt like I was young yesterday. It seemed like just yesterday I was pulling out and praying every month. Not like a broken down old man. Children I'm responsible for, which is so much fucking pressure. I mean, it's like, you know, even before the kids are born, you gotta decide, like, well, if it's a boy, do we get him circumcised? If it's a girl, do we keep her? The doctor told me you don't have to get them circumcised. A lot of people aren't doing it. How many people aren't doing it? I don't want to be a trendsetter when it comes to my kid's penis, you know what I mean? I don't want my son to be the only guy in the locker room with a dick that looks like it's about to rob a bank. And now everything in the schools is self-esteem now. You know, put them in the schools. And a lot of schools, they don't even keep score. They don't keep track of the grades. It's like, just make them feel good about themselves. You know, they're taking dodgeball out of all the schools. Dodgeball's bad for the kids. It forces the strong to target the weak. That's part of growing up, isn't it? Part of growing up is learning your strengths and your weaknesses. What better way to figure out that hand-eye coordination ain't your thing, you know, like getting drilled in the mouth with a red rubber ball. You only gotta get beaten in the face so many times before you figure out, shit, I better hit the books, because this just ain't working out. I gotta develop some people skills, because obviously I'm not gonna muscle my way through life. It's an important lesson. The fatter you are, the easier the target you are. These are lessons that dodgeball teaches people. If everybody grows up with high self-esteem, who's gonna dance in our strip clubs? These girls don't just grow on trees, folks, right? You need a lot of drunk daddies missing a lot of dance recitals before you get girls willing to grind their twat in a brass pole for a living. That's not easy to do. As the cocaine wears off, you're all cranky to begin with, now you gotta... It's just not easy, folks, is all I'm saying. There were schools in New York City that tried to ban Mother's Day. They wanted to ban Mother's Day because they said Mother's Day artwork would be upsetting to children from non-traditional families. That's what it's come to now. Even Mother's Day is controversial. Why don't we get rid of every holiday? Let's get rid of Thanksgiving, right? That artwork has to be upsetting to children who are missing fingers. That's gotta suck. Every year everybody else has that perfect little turkey tracer card, you know? It's not bad enough your father makes you work the deli slicer, now you got a turkey that looks like its tail feathers are blowing off. What kind of shitty holiday is that? Happy Thanksgiving. The reading and writing skills get worse all the time. I read a book a while back that was filled with letters that soldiers during the Civil War wrote to their girlfriends. These guys were 14, 15-year-old kids. They'd never even been to school, but every single letter in the book was unbelievable. Every single letter was like, "My dearest Hannah, this morn finds miracle, fiery pangs of your absence. I'll bear your cherished memory with me as I battle the forces, tyranny and oppression." Now think about what the typical letter from your average Gulf War soldier to his girlfriend back home like New Jersey must have read like. "Dear Marie, it is hot as fuck out here. It is hard to fight these sand monkeys with your balls stuck to your legs. It is very, very hot out here because I am in the desert. What else did I want to ask you? Oh yeah, don't fuck nobody, like it back. What do I know? Oh, man. It ain't easy, folks. I have to swig of this. You know, I try not to be a hypocrite, but it just happened. The other day, this homeless guy asked me for money. I was about to give it to him, and then I thought, he's just going to use it on drugs or alcohol. And then I thought, that's what I'm going to use it on. Who the hell am I to judge this poor bastard, you know what I mean? People love to judge homeless guys. Like, you give him the money, he's just going to waste it, man. He's going to waste that money. Well, he lives in a box. What do you want him to do with it? Save it up by a wall unit, you know? A throw rug and a CD rack, or... He's almost because of his self-esteem. He's got bad self-esteem. Self-esteem. First of all, you know, sometimes you got to suffer a little in your youth to motivate you to succeed later in life. You know, you think if Bill Gates got laid in high school, do you think there'd be a Microsoft? You got to spend a lot of time stuffed in your own locker with your underwear wedged up your ass before you start thinking, I'm going to take over the world with computers, you'll see. I'll show them one day. That's just not a scheme that you hatch where you're getting blown in the back seat of your dad's Ford Taurus on prom night, you know what I mean? Unless it's your dad blowing you, then you're like, ah! I'm going to take over the world with computers, you'll see. I'm not advocating, you know, blowing your own children to improve the software. Comedic exaggeration. I don't know. Some people really are heartless. I saw this guy yelling at a homeless guy the other day. He goes, go out and get a job, you fucking bum. People always say that to homeless guys, get a job. This homeless guy was wearing his underwear outside his pants. I'm guessing his resume ain't all up to date. I'm predicting some problems during the interview process. I'm pretty sure even McDonald's has an underwear go inside the pants policy. Not that they enforce it, but... What kind of job are you supposed to get when you've been shitting your pants for like 8 weeks? Hey, welcome to IBM, Smelly. Thank God you made it. We've been looking for a toothless crackhead fuck up with piss all over himself, but no one's been responding to the ad. Thank God you finally came to your senses. Some people really are heartless. I saw somebody yelling the other day about illegal aliens because you ordered something that, well, in a way, it was a little irritating because he was ordering. He asked, I was in this deli, and he asked the girl behind the counter, he says, what kind of soups do you have? And she goes, cream of squish. Cream of squish. Cream of squish. And I'm not saying you gotta learn like the language instantly when you get here, but like there's no place in the world where cream of squish sounds like a delicious soup. Cream of squish. And the guy would say, well, what kind? Cream of squish? And then one of the other girls behind the counter goes, yo, she don't speak English, yo! Like, you fucking idiot, how dare you try to communicate in English? But again, people are heartless, like with the illegal aliens. Those guys talking about goddamn illegal aliens, they take our jobs, they're taking away American jobs. But you know, people always say that about illegal aliens. When's the last time you lost a job to an illegal alien? You want to land that big leaf blower gig for 25 cents an hour? You're having trouble living that illegal alien fantasy you always had. That one day, if you played your cards right, you could be sitting on the back of a landscaping truck with 12 other guys 3.5 feet tall. Wearing your dirty Ms. Pac-Man baseball hat. What job exactly are they taking? They're not taking away the easy jobs or the glamorous jobs or the big money jobs. They're not becoming illegal alien investment bankers, you know, or illegal alien TV weatherman. Hey, Papa. Today in Southern California will be warm, muggy, low visibility. Good day to cross the river. Who the hell wouldn't want to come here? We got it made, man. We are the most spoiled, and it gets more and more, you know, this life gets more and more, we get more and more spoiled all the time. The Olympics are, you know, like, usually they used to have these behind-the-scenes look at the athletes, and these guys had these unbelievable obstacles they had to overcome to get in the Olympics. In the Winter Olympics, they had a guy who was a loser, and they said it was amazing that he was competing in the Olympics because he'd overcome dyslexia to be there. Dyslexia. Have you ever seen the luge? You can be dead and actually still be pretty good at luge. There's no reading, there's no signs in the luge. You can't get all dyslexic on the way down. Did that seem... Oh, fuck, I'm turning around and go back up. The better readers go flying past you. Eat my dust, retard! I wanted to do that joke on the Letterman show. They wouldn't let me because they said it was a simplistic view of dyslexia and it might offend a lot of people. Like they're going to write letters. Bring it on, motherfuckers. They've just become such a silly little country. You know, like, look at the Civil Liberties Union. They used to do great things for civil rights in the 60s and the 70s. You seen some of the battles they fight now? I read in the paper the other day they were fighting minimum height and weight requirements for cops across the country. Like in LA, it was a law the cops had to be 5 feet tall as a minimum. That's pretty reasonable, isn't it, for a cop, 5 feet? Yeah, but that's racist, and, you know, what if people are under, you know, it discriminates against midget pygmy elf children. If you're 3 feet tall, you shouldn't be a cop. Tough shit, just do something else. You know? Learn to ride a racehorse or something. I don't want a 3-foot tall cop running around blowing his little whistle, jumping up and down with his little nightstick, looking like a circus act broke out in the middle of a crime scene. These guys have tough jobs. It's not easy to be a cop. If you're a 3-foot tall cop, what if you got to plant evidence on a high shelf? What do you do there? What if you got to chase a suspect on a ride at Disneyland? Well, let's talk about love. That's what it's all about. Let's change gears. It's all about love. You gotta find a soulmate. I didn't used to believe in soulmates at all until I saw Siegfried and Roy. Because there you got a gay lion tamer who hooked up with another gay lion tamer. What are the odds of that happening? Talk about holding out for Mr. Right. That's a very inspired story. The whole Kobe thing is out of control, too. Like, nobody knows what happened for sure, but at the very least, we know that he admitted on national television that he cheated on his wife, and she's sitting right there at the press conference holding his hands and wiping his tears. I gotta get me one of those wives. Holy shit, I once left the toilet seat up in my house. It was like a 4-day war. You're an asshole, you did it on purpose. Subconsciously, you want me to fall in. Blah, 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 blah. Every couple has the same fights. Everybody, you know, I guarantee you guys have had the same fights that I have with my wife over and over. I probably don't have, I don't have to tell you what they are, you know exactly. Every couple has the same fights. It's so predictable. You know the one where you're like bombing in an empty club in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and some toothless scumbag in the front row is like, you ain't from around here, are you, boy? And you're like, did you really just say that? You cliche slinging mongoloid halfwit, did that really just come out of your toothless head? And he's like, you suck, you ain't funny at all. You're like, hey, don't be mad at me because you caught your rat tail in the tilt-a-whirl at work today, fuckface, right? I didn't tell you to drop out of high school and eat rock candy 12 hours a day for the last 15 years. Pretty sure you come up with that approach to life all by your own inbred cousin fucking self, you know? And then you get off stage, you start doing shots of tequila just to numb the pain, and then you're on the phone with your wife, and she's like, are you drunk? Like, yeah, I'm drunk. I'm in fucking Tennessee. I'm gonna say drunk the whole goddamn time I'm here. Well, I hate you gotta go on the road and get drunk all the time. I hate going on the road too, my love, but I'm just trying to earn a fucking living here, okay? And if getting drunk is the only way I can anesthetize myself enough to entertain a bunch of freaks that I have nothing in common with, no offense. You would think that you, as my chosen loved one, would show one goddamn shred of compassion. Well, I never would have married you. If I knew you were going to go on the road and get drunk all the time, I wouldn't have married you. Yes, you would have, because I told you I was never going to change my lifestyle, which is why I chose this profession in the first place. But of course, you don't fucking care because you women are so fucking self-absorbed and obsessed and fucking molding you into a little neutered puppy dog. That's the exact fucking... And by the way, did I forgive you when you fucked that dude? Because it's so lonely. You're away and don't pay attention to my needs ever. Have you had that one? It's not easy. I like movies about relationships. They always seem to hit the nail right on the head. You know, like I rented Monsters Ball the other day, which is supposed to show you that love can triumph over racism, which is a great message. But of course, the casting is ridiculous. You got Billy Bob Thornton playing a racist corrections officer who somehow manages to overcome his racism enough to have sex with Halle Berry. Yeah, good to see people rise above the hate like that. It's Halle Berry. I'm pretty sure the Grand Wizard of the KKK could have made an exception in that case. If they really wanted to make a big statement, it should have been like Brad Pitt and Whoopi Goldberg. Why are people groaning at that? You gotta find your soulmate. That's all I'm trying to say, folks. What, you know what, I've been trying to ignore you, but what makes you think that this is a conversation? It's like you're not really part of this. Yeah, which is why I said it, and most of us just had that thought in our inside voice. Yeah. I'm torn between like, are you kind of, I can't tell if you're like nuts, or just kind of like delusional, or just have a certain break with reality. Drunk, maybe just drunk. How much do you think you've drank so far today, would you say? 2 gallons? 2 gallons. Are you guys a couple? That was the most I got? Wow. You're right, it's been a disaster. The whole show has been a party. Well, you're not really here to be a fucking applause monitor, are you? But I mean, you get a lot of applause at your line of work at the fucking crack whore place where when you're down cleaning the cheese off their asses, you get like a lot of laughs. Other drunk assholes sitting in the front interrupting you when you're sitting there like popping zits on crack whore asses. There are a lot of people. Yeah, well, you're an irritating motherfucker, you know. Well, luckily. It's weird because on the one hand, like, you really are fucking crazy because you're not, part of you is like, not completely annoying, and then you're fucking the most annoying possible, like all within like I can't really know, I don't know what to make of you. Well, yeah, talk about a mixed message there. I'm like, well, glad you enjoyed it, I guess. Thanks for coming out. You couldn't have sat like in the back somewhere, or... Move on. Don't fucking give me orders, lady! You try standing in here forming your thought as someone's talking and then have someone else go, move on. Let's go back to the other part, okay? I'm a human being, I'm not a fucking robot. Go back to the other little rat-tat-tat. Well, folks, look, the whole point is that you gotta find love. That's all I'm trying to say. Wherever you find it, it's all good. If you have kids, that's when it gets tricky in a relationship. If you have kids, especially if there's breastfeeding. Then the women really have all the power. It's like, I did all the breastfeeding. Of course you did all the breastfeeding. You have all the breasts. Shit. I mean, I would have breastfed. I would have done it if I could. What's the big deal? You sit there with your tit in his mouth. How hard can that be? If that was such a chore, my prom date deserved a Nobel Peace Prize. And they tell you to do it for like a year or more. My wife breastfed our kid till he was like a year old, which is nuts. At the beginning, it's like cute and adorable little baby. By a year, there's a fucking dude there. There's some little midget slobbering on my wife's titties in my own house. And he's my son, and I love him more than anything, but it got a little awkward between us. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a lot of tension there. You know, I'd walk in the room, we'd lock eyes, he'd be like... And of course, you're gonna look and be sort of sickly fascinated by it on a certain level, because we're just visual creeps, let's face it. And women wield that power irresponsibly. The cleavage, you know, you guys don't even... I love when women have like their tits falling out of their shirt, and like, I just want people to look me in the eye. No one takes me seriously. I was in Vegas, I saw this woman with glitter makeup on her chest, glitter, and she caught me glancing over, and she's like... You have shiny shit on your tits. You know, were you hoping to divert attention? That's not a good strategy. You were sitting there in the mirror and slandering it on me like this ought to keep him looking away. This is perfect. Why don't you hire a marching band, neon titty signs? What are you looking at? Look at that. And this friend of mine told me, she goes, yeah, I dress this way to attract the guy, but I want to attract the right guy. I don't want to attract every slob on the street. Well, that's how cleavage works. It's not a smart bomb. It's not a laser guided weapon. You might hit your target, but there's also going to be a lot of collateral damage. That's the way it goes. You might hit the guy in the Porsche, but you're also going to hit the guy with one tooth whacking off on the bus. And you got to just be happy you have that kind of power over men. There's nothing I can do to have that kind of power over women. I can't walk around with my balls pressed together. Hello, girls. A little glitter. Hey! Was I speeding, officer? Well, thank you all very much. Take it easy. Thanks a lot.
Coming out, give yourselves one bit round last thing of applause and all that, and stumble over your words.
Muchas gracias, bienvenido al show, me llamo Greg y este programa va a ser muy interesante. Un aplauso por Jeff, por favor, por Jeff. Y un aplauso por el negro gordo. El negro gordo. El negro gordo con el ego. El negro gordo. Hey everybody, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little hungover, man. We went out, we got very fucked up, and went to a strip club, which I hate strip clubs. It always costs you a fortune. It does nothing for me. It's not a turn on to me at all, you know? I was sitting there, I kept getting these lap dances. It did nothing for me. The dancer, the whole time, he just kept jamming his dick in my face. I guess this is fun for somebody, but... It's almost West Nile season, so get out there and enjoy the weather. Every year, this is about the time when they know it's coming back because they find 2 dead birds somewhere. And they're like, oh, the bird died from the West Nile virus. And, you know, it's like, who finds these goddamn birds? I was a kid, we used to find dead birds all the time. They didn't take them in for autopsies. We picked them up and we threw them at the gay kid. That's what we did with them. I'm not proud of it. We didn't even know what gay was. We just knew he ran like a girl when you threw dead shit at him, so he did. That's one of the reasons I totally support gay marriage. I'm like, you know from the time, look, there's a kid that ran like a girl when he threw a dead bird at him, and you knew you didn't choose that. You're pretty much what you are. And you really shouldn't be discriminated against. And besides, we act like we're doing them such a favor. Like, fuck, they should have to get married. I'm tired of their happy-go-lucky lifestyles. You know what I mean? They should have to suffer like everybody else. Walking past these dudes at the sidewalk cafe all ripped up, fucking bodybuilder looking in tank tops, planning their next trip to Paris. Meanwhile, I'm home like, all you do is sit there. You gotta muzzle off. We need to make a plate. Being married to a dude would be great. I mean, how fucking, it's just another guy. You're gonna understand each other. You can hang out, do the same shit, watch sports all day, Ice dancing maybe, but whatever. It's still a sport. That'd be great. Other than the taking it in the ass part, that would be like a little bit of a drawback. I was talking to this gay friend of mine the other day. He said he had sex with this guy and it was no good because the guy came too fast. I'm like, what are you waiting for? I mean, like, it's like, gay guys always want to shock you with their in-your-face sex, it's like, so to speak. So they're always trying to like shock you and I'm like, he came too fast. Like, I would think that if I had a dick in my ass, I'd want it over as soon as possible, you know what I mean? I don't care how adorable the guy is. I'd be like, hey, Brad Pitt, you're dreamy and all, but this is uncomfortable, to say the least. So can you just finish up? Maybe we could go, museum hopping or whatever it is. monkeypox. Every day there was like a new disease, and it was like 3 months. Mad cow, the turtle cooties, the fucking... The monkeypox. People in the Midwest are getting the monkeypox from playing with their prairie dogs. When I first heard you could get a disease from playing with your prairie dog, I thought, well, that's a weird euphemism. I always thought playing with my prairie dog was the best way to avoid diseases. But they actually meant the animal, like the real life, actual fucking prairie dog. And they knew within 3 days, like, well, this prairie dog had shared a cage with an African rat from Namibia. You can see from the bill of lading that it came from a part of Namibia where the monkeypox is rampant. Within 3 days, they tracked it down. Like, where's Osama bin Laden? Where are the weapons of mass destruction? We can't find any of that, but they find a gopher with the sniffles in a terrarium in Madison, Wisconsin. You remember Osama bin Laden? Wasn't he important? Wasn't this all about bin Laden? We gotta find Osama bin Laden. And then the new season of American Idol came on, like, fuck it. We're supposed to democratize the entire Middle East. We're supposed to rebuild whole countries. We can't find one 8-foot-tall terrorist with kidney failure. Well, he's tethered to a goddamn dialysis machine, for Christ's sake. He somehow drags that from recording session to recording session. That's gotta leave some sort of trail in the sand, wouldn't you think? Not like he's keeping a low profile. He's got more fucking videos out than Puff Daddy. You know. What the hell else is happening in the news? The porn industry shut down. They stopped the porn industry because of an AIDS scare. An AIDS scare, like, did they just fucking figure it out? Somebody found a newspaper from 1986 and holy shit, we gotta stop swimming in pools of jizz. This is unhealthy. You know what? I read it's actually starting to affect the economy in parts of the San Fernando Valley. That's what they do. Well, how much fucking porn? It's like a whole... How much porn do we... There's already like trillions of hours of porn that are already shot. It's like you only need it like 4 minutes at a time. How much fucking porn? It's not like they're making new... You know, they're not coming up with new plot twists, you know, like incorporating current events. Oh, they're fucking because they're upset about Fallujah. I don't even like new porn anyway. I like old porn. And by old porn, I mean porn with old people in it. Yeah, it's good porn, man. It makes you feel better about your own body, you know. But you never know when one of them might die right in the middle of a scene. It keeps it sort of exciting. I saw a guy watching porn on his DVD player in his SUV the other day, just driving right down the street in the middle of the day with porn blaring. How unself-conscious do you... What kind of a fucking antisocial douchebag do you have to be driving around in the middle of the day with fucking porno going, kids are crossing the street on their way to school, like, oh. I would never do that because it's obnoxious, but also because, you know, what if you get in an accident? You know, the car's totaled, the porn's still going. You know, you're bleeding to death because the paramedics are waiting for the money shot and $37. They don't want to be distracting your rescue workers, is all I'm saying. You know, the other day I walked into a glass wall, full speed. Down Wall Street, New York, there was a wall. I thought it was a door going out to like the sidewalk. I'm walking full speed, smash right into this thing. Like I mushed my face. I looked like a Shroud of Turin mark on the window. My nose, snot, and everything just smeared. I actually even hurt my balls. I fucking smashed. The girl was like, it was like an ice cream store. The girl behind the counter was like, holy shit! It was like a loud crack. Of course, I had to turn around, pretend it didn't. Bleeding. I just wanted to check out the. I really was. And the worst thing about having something like that happen is now, like, the world seems very dangerous to me. You know, I'm just like every step. It was exactly a week ago today, and I'm still like, all right. And it made me feel like bad for people who've been hit by lightning, you know. Once you've been hit by lightning, anything's got to seem sort of possible, and it's just got to... Being hit by lightning is like the barometer we use to judge other dangerous activities. Like, man, I'm a little scared of flying. Dude, don't worry, you're actually 10,000 times more likely to be hit by lightning than you are. Well, I've actually already been hit by lightning. Things happen. It can happen, thanks. I don't understand how they're supposed to relieve your fear of one activity by making you afraid of another activity. Hey, I'm worried about riding the subway late at night. Don't worry about that. You're 100 times more likely to be raped in your own apartment, actually. Wow. Especially on Saturdays. It's Saturday, that's a bad day. I tried to make up my own word. I said 100. You're 100 times more likely. What the hell else is happening? Terrorism, of course, you know, something we think about. The other day I'm teaching my son about terrorism. He goes, but Daddy, how come the bad men hate us so much? How come those bad men hate us? How sad is that? I actually got tears in my eyes, you know? Because he's 18. What kind of a fucking moron am I raising? I was like, I don't know why they hate us, dummy. Why don't you read the paper and form your own opinions? Which you won't do because as Americans, we don't read papers. We don't follow what goes on in the news. We don't know what goes on in other countries. Have you ever talked to a European? Sometimes you have no choice, right? You really jumped right in with that answer. You were very excited to get that out of there. Fuck yeah, I have. Oh yeah. I've talked to some Europeans. What's that?
I'm European.
You're European. Okay. Anybody else want to shout out their ethnicity or their background? What part of Europe are you from? Oh, England. That's not technically Europe, is it? The point is that Europeans know a lot about America. That's what I'm saying. Didn't we have this conversation last time? You were here last time, right? But then, you know, we had this conversation last time that you guys know a lot more about America than we know about ourselves. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if your schools are better or you just don't smoke pot at lunchtime or whatever the hell it is. These guys know everything. Talk to the average European, they always say, like, you know, actually the U.S. could have lost its independence during the War of 1812. And you're like, all right, I guess. I don't know. You try to think of the one thing you know about Europe, you're like, oh, French chicks got hairy pitch, right? All right? I was talking to this Arab guy, and I said, why do the Americans always support the Israelis? He said, it's probably because in America the Jews have all the money and they control the media, which is ridiculous and paranoid and really just part of it. Americans don't really know what goes on between the Israelis and the Palestinians. So basically Americans support the Israelis for one reason, because the Israelis never do this. That's like 90% of it, you know what I mean? But the average American's like, shit, I don't know what's going on over there, but I don't like that. I know that. I'm going with the team that ain't doing that. That I don't like. This guy told me it sucks for him. He's always stereotyped as a terrorist. Whenever he travels, people assume he's a terrorist. And that does suck, but this is America. Every ethnic group has a stereotype that they've had to overcome at some point in their history. I mean, I'm half Colombian and half Spanish. I don't get upset every time people assume that I'm a bullfighter. I can't be seen with a sword or a cape. You don't think that hurts me deep down inside? You don't think I'd love to wear my skin-tight pink capri pants and be dazzling on them? Without getting weird looks from racists? Every time I wear my capri pants, I get weird looks. Go back to bullfighting land, bucko. You think they can stop putting these terrorism experts on the news with their doomsday scenarios of how the terrorists might attack? Because you get the sense they're coming up with ideas that these fuckers haven't thought of themselves. But like, you know, Wolf, very few people know this, but there's actually an incredibly important atomic substation located right in Ocala, Florida. Now, it wouldn't be hard for them to find. I'll show you right here on the map exactly where it is. All it would take is a very small explosive charge placed in this exact spot right here. Even a firecracker would do it, Wolf, or a bottle rocket. I mean, I've taken the liberty of placing a big red X at its most vulnerable. If you were to hit that even with an Egg McMuffin, let's say, the entire Eastern Seaboard would happen. Anyone can download this diagram right from CNN.com. It's that easy. There's only one security guard there. His name's Bob, and he's a bit of a boozer. So imagine the havoc. The media covers all this shit pretty irresponsibly, you know. I like the Fox News channel. They're fair and balanced. They don't even try to be. It's like you know, you can be. It's fine. You know, there should be different perspectives, but at least be honest about it. They don't even try. They just like editorialize and everything. They're like, Supreme Court to hear challenges to Michigan's affirmative action policies. Apparently, the darkies have gotten themselves a lawyer. ever see the debates on the Fox News channel? They always mismatch them completely. Like arguing in favor of strengthening sanctions against North Korea, former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. Arguing against Lorenzo Lamas. They have hot chicks on the Fox News channel, though. Yeah, they do, and it kind of takes the edge off. You know, they're always like, 5 died in raid outside of Basra. So bad. Well, folks, it's a tricky situation, let's face it. We've been spoiled for a long time. We've had it easy in our country forever. You know what the #1 killer in America is? The #1 health risk? Obesity. Obesity. They say we're in the middle of an obesity epidemic. They keep calling it that, the epidemic, the obesity epidemic, like it's polio, like we'll be telling our grandkids about it one day, the great obesity epidemic of 2004. How'd you get through it, Grandpa? Oh, it was horrible, Johnny. There was cheesecake and pork chops everywhere. There was more Taco Bell than you could shake a stick at. We couldn't even shake sticks. We were all so fucking fat. Nobody knows why we keep getting fatter. Look at our lifestyles. I'll sit at a McDonald's drive-thru. I'll sit there behind 15 other cars. I'll sit there for an hour. Instead of getting up and making the 8-foot walk to the totally empty counter. Everything's supersized, mega meal. You want biggie fries now? Want a jumbo fry? Want a super duper size? Want a mega meal? Want a biggie fry? Want a jumbo fry? Want one of those 30 burgers for a nickel? You fat motherfucker, there's room in the bag. You want a 55-gallon drum of Coke with that? It's only 3 more cents. You can't even McDonald's is going to get rid of supersize because fat people are suing them because they were made fat because they have the self-control of a fucking gnat. And now we're fat because McDonald's. Could you imagine the balls to walk into a lawyer's office and be like, look at this shit. Look at me. They did this to me. Somebody has to pay. And the people, you know, like, why don't we sue everybody? Let's sue the makers of engagement rings for the 8 years of misery that usually follows a purchase of one of their products. Whatever happened to accepting personal responsibility? There was a guy in New York suing his landlord because he said scalding water from the shower burned his genitals. Well, you know what? That's a hell of a way to test the water, huh? Burn my dick in the shower, I'm keeping it to myself, you know what I mean? I'm not calling my lawyer or anybody else. I'm going to rub a little dirt on it and walk it off. Because I'll be embarrassed and I'll be ashamed of myself. Getting fatter. Why do we keep getting fatter? Because we don't fucking move, we don't burn calories, everything's wrong. I know a guy with a remote control for his car stereo. How fucking lazy. Dude, I can't be lifting my hand 4 inches every time I want to change the goddamn station. Everything's remote control, automated. All we do is sit at the computer all day. In a few hundred years, we're not even going to need our limbs. We're just going to evolve into a big, giant ass with fingers. Maybe one eyeball on top, just kind of look around. The only skinny people will be like the illegal aliens. You have to hire to flip us over and wipe the ass crack down every once in a while. People will still complain, they're taking away our jobs. I wanted to be an ass crack wiper. These motherfuckers swim over here. They're taking away all the good ass crack wipers. People always say that about illegal aliens, that they take away our jobs. When's the last time you lost a job to an illegal alien? You want to land that big leaf blower gig for 25 cents an hour? You having trouble living that illegal alien fantasy you always had? That one day if you played your cards right, you could be sitting on the back of a landscaping truck with 12 other guys 3.5 feet tall, you know, wearing your dirty Ms. Pac-Man baseball hat. They don't take away the dream jobs you wish you could get, the easy jobs or the big money jobs. They're not becoming illegal alien investment bankers or like illegal alien TV weatherman. Hey, Buzza. Today in Southern California will be warm, buggy, stormy the million. Good day to cross a river. That shit is silly, yo. That shit was silly. Although it does get annoying sometimes when people don't even make an attempt to kind of learn the language. Like I was in a deli the other day and I said, what kind of soup do you guys have? She goes, cream squish. Can I squish? Oh, cream of squish? Did you say cream of squish soup? Is that really what you... Does that sound... Do you really think that's even remotely close to right? And another girl behind the counter is like, yo, she don't speak English, yo! Like I was the asshole for attempting to communicate in our native tongue. I don't know. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. Snack foods. Look at the snack. We just keep getting fatter by the second. I'm getting fat myself, believe me. That's why I can't stand when these actors gain weight for a role and then they're treated like they're geniuses. I heard you gained 80 pounds for the role of Tubbs McGoo in Cries of a Fat Man. How did you do it? Now you want to impress me, get taller. Let's see that. Let's see Gary Coleman in the Wilt Chamberlain story. That would get my Oscar. Snack foods, chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. We can't even wait for it to become a cookie. Edible underwear. Even when we're fucking, we can't stop eating. You put down the snacks, you're having sex, that should be more than enough stimulation. What has to be going on around you to take your mind off of food? Holy shit, my house is on fire. Marshmallows. Death by chocolate. I was at a Fridays the other day and the waitress says, hey gang, how about some Death by chocolate for dessert, gang? Can I interest anyone in some Death by chocolate? Death by chocolate. How spoiled do you have to be to trivialize death like that? Hey gang, how about I bring up chocolate that'll snuff the fucking life right out of you? Won't that be neat? Won't that be swell, gang? If I keep shoving chocolate in your fat gluttonous head till you're dead, till you're flopping around on the ground in some chocolate-induced diabetic seizure? Won't that be a great way to celebrate your happy birthday? Happy. You ever hear anyone say they're addicted to chocolate? You hear that all the time? I'm a chocoholic, I'm addicted to chocolate. You can't be addicted to chocolate. When's the last time you heard of somebody blowing a guy for Mound's money? Some people give up chocolate for Lent. Ooh, just like being crucified. I'm sure Jesus really appreciates the gesture. He's nailed to a cross, you go 40 days without a Kit Kat bar, wow. Well, so we have been pretty spoiled is the point. We're definitely spoiled as a culture, but what are you gonna do? It's not so terrible. I just try not to be a hypocrite in my life. I try to do the right thing, but I was walking around the other night, this homeless guy asked me for money. I was about to give it to him, and then I thought he's just gonna use it on drugs or alcohol. And then I thought, that's what I'm gonna use it on. Why the hell am I judging this poor bastard? People love to judge homeless guys. Like, you give him the money, he's just gonna waste it. He's gonna waste the money. Well, he lives in a box. What do you want him to do with it? Save it up, buy a wall unit, maybe? Take a little trip to IKEA for a throw rug or a CD rack or something? I tried to help a homeless guy the other day. I bought a bunch of donuts. I see this homeless guy. I'm like, hey man, you want a donut? And he freaks out. Well, you don't know. They're all nuts. Maybe he thinks it's a ray gun or whatever. Or maybe he's homeless because of donuts. He used to own a donut shop that burned down. I'm like, I remember the good old days. But it turned out he wasn't homeless. He wasn't homeless. He was just a fat guy in a dirty coat. And now to him, I'm the freak weirdo trying to give away donuts to total strangers. Hey, you want a donut? How about a donut? Want to be my friend? I'd like to begin a relationship by offering you a tasty donut. How do you apologize for that? I wasn't giving you a donut because I thought you were fat. I thought you were homeless. I didn't mean to be insulting. That's what this guy yelling at a homeless guy the other day. He's like, get a job, you fucking bum. People always say that to homeless guys, get a job, like it's always that easy. This homeless guy was wearing his underwear outside his pants. I'm guessing his resume ain't all up to date. I'm predicting some problems during the interview process. I'm pretty sure even McDonald's has an underwear go inside the pants policy. Not that they enforce it very strictly, but... What kind of job are you supposed to get when you've been shitting in your pants for 6 weeks, Hey, welcome to IBM, Smelly. Thank God you finally made it. Come on in. We've been looking for a toothless crackhead fuck up with piss all over himself, but no one's been responding to the ad. Thank God you finally came to your senses and walked on in. We've definitely gotten pretty soft as a culture, Everything's about self-esteem, build a kid's self-esteem. You put them in the school, it's like, do they feel good? Build their self-esteem. First of all, if everybody grows up with high self-esteem, who's going to dance in our strip clubs? These girls don't just grow on trees, folks, all right? You need a lot of drunk daddies missing a lot of dance recitals before you find women willing to grind their twats on a brass pole for wet singles. I'm saying it's an important industry. What about porn? These girls don't grow on trees either. You know, you got to have a lot of pain in your life before you start blowing goats on the internet for 50 bucks a pop. And if that dries up, where does that leave me on a Friday? You know, I got shit, you know, new high-speed connection. That's what drives the whole engine. And the whole point is, you know, sometimes you got to suffer a little in your youth to motivate you to succeed later in life. I mean, you think if Bill Gates got laid in high school, do you think there'd be a Microsoft? You got to spend a lot of time stuffed in your own locker with your underwear wedged up your ass before you start thinking, I'm going to take over the world with computers. You'll see. Oh, I'll show them one day. That's just not a scheme you hatch where you're getting blown in the back seat of your dad's Ford Taurus, you know. Unless it's like your dad blowing you, and you're like, we're going to take over the world with computers. I'm not advocating filleting your own child in order to improve the software. It's all that whole self-esteem thing's gotten ridiculous. They're taking dodgeball out of all the schools. Dodgeball's bad for the kids because it forces the strong to target the weak. Well, but isn't that part of growing up? Isn't part of growing up learning your strengths and weaknesses? What better way to figure out that hand-eye coordination ain't your thing, like getting drilled in the mouth with a red rubber ball? You know, you only got to get beamed in the face so many times before you figure out, shit, I better hit the books because this ain't working out. You know, I ain't going to muscle my way through life. I better develop some people skills or something. And you find where you fit in the planet. I mean, it's gotten so extreme. There were schools in New York City that tried to ban Mother's Day. They wanted to ban Mother's Day because they said Mother's Day artwork would be upsetting to children from non-traditional families. That's what it's come to. Mother's Day is controversial. Why don't we get rid of every holiday? Let's get rid of Thanksgiving, right? That artwork has to be upsetting to children who are missing fingers. That's kind of sucks for them. Every year, everybody else has that perfect little turkey tracer card, you know? You know, it's bad enough your father makes you work the deli slicer, but now you got a turkey that looks like a shitty tailbone. Happy Thanksgiving, my turkey looks like it lives near a nuclear plant. What do I have to be thankful for? Just in the last Winter Olympics, there was a luger guy, and they said it was amazing he was competing in the Olympics because he had overcome dyslexia to be there. Dyslexia. Everybody's dyslexic all of a sudden. They overcame dyslexia. Yes, if you became a lawyer or something. He's a fucking illusionist. Have you ever seen the luge? You can be dead and actually be pretty good at the luge. I mean, you lay there on the ice, you go sliding down. It's not like you can get all dyslexic. There's no signs. There's no reading. You're like, oh, oh, fuck, I'm heading back up. I can't keep track. You know? Better readers go flying past you. Eat my dust, retard! I wanted to do that joke on the Letterman show. They wouldn't let me because they said it was a simplistic view of dyslexia and it might offend a lot of people. Like they're gonna write letters. Bring it on. I was very deaf and dumb. Look at the Civil Liberties Union. They used to do great things for civil rights in the 60s and the 70s. Have you seen some of the battles they fight now? I saw recently they were fighting minimum height and weight requirements for cops across the country. Like in LA, it was a law the cops had to be 5 feet tall as a minimum. 5 feet. That's pretty reasonable, isn't it, for a cop? 5 feet tall? But they say it's like racist and sexist or somehow discriminates against fucking midget, pygmy, elf children. I mean, if you're 3 feet tall, you know, you shouldn't be a cop. I don't know what to tell you. Do something else. Learn to ride a racehorse or something. I don't want a 3 foot tall cop running around, blowing his little whistle, jumping up and down with his little nightstick, looking like a circus act broke out in the middle of a crime scene. I mean, it sort of undermines the seriousness of a whole police presence when 12 of them come piling out of a cop car at the same time. And these guys have tough jobs, right? It's not easy to be a cop. If you're a 3 foot tall cop, what if you got to plant evidence on a high shelf? What if you have to chase a suspect on a ride at Disneyland? touch on really controversial topics here today, but sometimes you have to, and there's some shit I just can't. It just gets me too angry. I gotta talk about it, and I know it's Spider-Man logos on the bases. People fucking freaked out. Does no one know what I'm talking about? They wanted to put Spider-Man logos on the bases, and everyone freaked. Nobody gives a shit about anything. Like, if people don't vote for president, it's like, don't fucking dare defile the sanctity of a baseball stadium, you know? It's okay to be sitting there drinking 30 beers, calling Jorge Posada a pussy faggot, you know, in front of 6-year-old kids. Let's face it, it's like, it's advertising's everywhere. You know, the Viagra sponsors a car at NASCAR, which makes a lot of sense, because you want to target the NASCAR fans if you're a Viagra, because it is hard to get an erection after 40 beers when your wife weighs 400 pounds. It's hard to get it. It's hard to get it going, folks. You hear a lot about the dumbing down of America. I don't know if it's true or not. They did a study recently where they compared the math and science skills of 12th graders in 25 different countries. You know where the United States finished? Third from the bottom. Third from the bottom, just ahead of Cyprus. My first thought was, man, we got some stupid kids. And then I thought, I didn't even know Cyprus was a country. We don't learn shit in our schools. The reading and writing skills get worse all the time. I read a book that was filled with letters that soldiers during the Civil War wrote to their girlfriends back home. These were kids, 14, 15-year-old kids that had never even been to school. Every single letter in the book was incredible. Every single letter was like, my dearest Hannah, this morn finds me racked on the fiery pangs of your absence. I'll bear your cherished memory with me as I battle the forces of tyranny and oppression. Now think about what the typical letter from your average Gulf War soldier or Iraq soldier to his girlfriend back home in like New Jersey must read like, Dear Marie, it is hot as fuck out here. It is hard to fight these sand monkeys with your balls stuck to your legs. It is very, very hot out here because I am in the desert. What else did I want to ask you? Oh yeah, don't fuck nobody, like it back. People always say the internet's the answer. We're going to write to, which by the way, that's all we do is type away on the internet. And people are going on computer dates all the time. That used to be just for losers. Now, like, everybody I know is going on these computer dates. I know guys going on like 5 dates with different women all the time from the computer. It's like, just my luck, I get married, and then they come out with this great new way to get laid, you know? I feel like a guy that got polio the week before the vaccine came out. I don't see how the computer's going to make anyone write any better. Because, yeah, people have to write now. People write on the computer, but like 90% of what people write on there is like, any girls out there want to lick my balls? That's not going to help anyone's writing skills. Even if you spell check it, ultimately that's not going to help you. Some people say it's not true anymore. There's a lot of non-sexual chat rooms. Really? I mean, I get America Online. No matter what chat room I've ever gone into, there's always at least one deviant reject that comes in at some point that tries to turn any chat room into a sex room. You can go in the Christian fellowship room. Do you believe in the literal truth of the gospel? Yes, I do. Have you read Paul's letter to the Ephesians? Yeah, yes, I have. Any girls out there want to lick my balls? And they're always packed. Those sex rooms are always packed. You can't get into them when you want to. You know what I do? I just go into lesbian rooms. I go into lesbian chat rooms. I just pretend to be a lesbian, which is great, you know. The problem is I end up getting too into it, and I forget that I'm in a lesbian chat room, and I end up giving it all away. So like, I have nice tits. Oh, you have nice tits. What would you do to them? Oh, you rub my dick on them. Because everything's all men. All that sex shit is all men, let's face it. Because women say, we're just as sexual as men are. You know what? Come on. Put it this way, I guarantee no woman here has ever masturbated to a mannequin in a department store. But every guy's at least thought about it, or, you know. Sometimes you walk by a mannequin, you're like, fuck, that's a mannequin. I was in a department store the other day, I saw a sales girl putting bra and panties on a mannequin, and I couldn't have been more aroused if Britney Spears was sitting on my face. That was like the hottest fucking thing. It wasn't even a full mannequin, it was like a torso mannequin, no arms, no legs. Oh, perfect, I could spin her around. No mouth to bitch at me. And now you can't even walk the streets. These girls now walking around with sweatpants with tasty and juicy written right across the ass. which is helpful because you can't always tell just by looking. Yeah, thanks for the label. Hairy, crabby, whatever the hell you... What the hell else is happening? Well, you know, Iraq, of course. And, you know, I'm not one of these guys that likes to hear the president criticized during wartime. I don't think it's acceptable. It's not right. It's not right, sir. Maybe you're some sort of leftist. But I don't agree. I don't think it's appropriate to be mocking our president, sir. Like, you remember during the correspondence dinner where he showed a slide presentation of himself looking out the window at the Oval Office and looking under the sofa in the Oval Office, and he was saying, where are the weapons of mass destruction? No weapons here. And some leftists, sir, suggested that that was an insensitive take on the basis for this war, which is unfair because I think he was really looking for the weapons. I think that's how Cheney and Rumsfeld keep him busy. They're like, Georgie boy, the grown-ups have to talk, go look for the bombs under the couch. Right. Go have a look. Go have a look. But now, of course, you know, we're all living in denial these days. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to worry. That's like what reality TV is. So, by the way, how many more shows? Right? It gets more and more progressively worse. It's like, you know, Who Wants to Fuck My Grandma? It's like the new one. And even the fact, even the concept of reality, it's like, what, is that real? But no, it's like, it's reality. This is reality. Not fucking nuclear weapons, not people that want to kill us. It's like just steroid-addled bartenders and chicks with giant fake tits seeing who can eat the most monkey balls. That's real. They got one coming out, The Contender, which is they're gonna go across the country and find the best boxer in America. And we already had a show like that, I thought, and it was called Boxing. What the hell do I? I'm sort of losing my voice a little. I got to admit, this middle part got a little slow. I'm a little, you know, it was definitely a crazy all-nighter, and I'm not proud of it, but it's just the reality. You know, sometimes you get fucked up, right, sir? It's just the way it is. What's that? That's the reality. That would be a good reality show, watching me doing blow in a hotel at 4 o'clock in the morning. Something to be proud of, folks, believe me. They always try to make marijuana legal for medical purposes. The federal government always fights it. Why does the federal government fight it? What's the medical use for marijuana? It gives people their appetite back. They're nauseous from chemo. They smoke pot to get hungry. And McCaffrey, the last anti-drug czar, said there's no scientific evidence the drug has that effect. Obviously not a guy who's ever found himself in a 7-Eleven at 4 o'clock in the morning, staring at a frozen burrito like he's looking into the eyes of God. What kind of evidence does he want? All he needs is like a bong, a volunteer, and a box of Oreos. You'd have your answer right on the spot. I feel like I'm becoming an old, grumpy guy. It's like, it happens so fast. You go from being like a young, single guy to like, it just happens like that. It seems like just yesterday I was pulling out and praying every month. I'm like a broken down old man. I was watching like MTV the other day, that MTV Cribs show came on. You ever seen MTV Cribs? That's a depressing ass show if you're older than the people on the show. There's nothing like watching an 18-year-old rapper take you on a tour of his 40-room mansion. You know, he's got stripper poles and media rooms and waterfalls. And, you know, I'm 38 years old. I'm sitting on my bed/sofa. Oh, look at that. What a neat crib. Like, this house has 18 bathrooms. They're all made of imported Italian marble from a 14th century monastery. Meanwhile, I'm pissing in the sink because my crazy wife has locked herself in our one bathroom, and she won't come out until I admit that I have a drinking problem. Hang in there, Buttercup, because it's going to be a long wait. When you get out, you might want to watch a little MTV Cribs, because I noticed Ludacris's bitches weren't busting his balls about what he does to unwind. I'll tell you, having bitches is great, right, man? I don't know if you got, well, you got like a girlfriend, all right? Having bitches is better. You just gotta have a bunch of bitches. I'll tell you, I watch those MTV shows, you watch those hip-hop videos, you're like, man, bitches are the shit. Bitches are so much better than a wife. They just dance around in their thongs and their high heels, and you get to smoke bongs and play the Xbox with your boys, and they're never like, all you do is sit there, we gotta go see my mother. Bitches are just fucking dancing, and if they start getting upset, you just turn the music up, they dance more. Bitches are fucking great. I'm getting old, I'm getting cranky. Even the Janet Jackson thing when she whipped out the titty, that kind of bugged me, you know? I mean, I'm tired of like, not because it's like, oh, I never saw it, I never saw a titty before, but it's like, don't shock me with your obvious stunts. There's a lot of things she could have done that would have been pretty goddamn shocking. If you really wanted to shock, if she really wanted to say, hey, check this out, she could have taken a chainsaw right to Justin Timberlake's head. That would have been pretty shocking. We'd be like, motherfucker, did she just kill Justin Timberlake? She just fucking sawed off Justin Timberlake's head during the Super Bowl. Holy shit! Don't blame him. He wasn't in on it. He didn't know. He had nothing to do with it. I think she was just trying to compete with Michael. She was just trying to show that she could also do sexually inappropriate things with hairless little boys. And I think it really, well, I'm not sure why you've grown. I'm not the one finger popping the kids, folks. Let's face it. I mean, people still grown or support Michael Jackson. He's got a fucking amusement park, a petting zoo. He's done everything but set glue traps in a preschool, for Christ's sake. On the other pedophiles. How the fuck do you compete with that? Mike? So you live near Michael, you got your wits, maybe a van if you're lucky. They're like, no, I'm gonna go to the... This dude's got a monkey, man. I ain't getting in your van for a lollipop. Fuck out of here. Well, let's talk about love. That's what it's all about. Okay. You gotta find a soulmate. I didn't used to believe in soulmates at all until I saw Siegfried and Roy. Because there you got a gay lion tamer who hooked up with another gay lion tamer. What are the odds of that happening? Talk about holding out for Mr. Right. That's a pretty beautiful story. I mean, it's hard to find someone that matches you exactly like that. My wife and I are so different. All she does is nag me all day long about me being a slob. It's getting to the point now that when I masturbate, I just fantasize about having my own apartment. Seriously. I used to have to think about Cindy Crawford or Tyra Banks in some kind of crazy three-way. Now I think about leaving dishes in the sink overnight without a war breaking out. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Oh, I'm leaving the toilet seat up. I'm leaving the toilet seat up. It's not easy, folks. Years ago, I came home drunk on my motorcycle. I know that was stupid. I had to pretend I wasn't drunk, which is impossible. We had one of these loft beds. So I got to climb up in this loft bed and pretend to be sober, and she can see right through it because I'm talking too loud and I'm slurring. I'm still wearing my helmet. I was not gonna fool anybody laying in bed buck-ass naked with a big full-face helmet on my head. I ain't drunk, honey. I thought we could play alien space fantasy and hacker just to keep it fresh. Flowers. Some women love getting flowers. Do you like getting flowers? What's so great about it? You're giving someone something that was once a beautiful living organism and you just watch it shrivel up and die. It's like giving somebody a really, really old dog. There you go. Play with that for about a week or so, then I'll come over and help you bury it in the backyard. Maybe you can dry it out upside down in the living room. I tried to buy some flowers for my baby's moms. I had to, you call 800 flowers and there was some dude answered the phone and then you got to dictate the note part. He's like, well, what do you want the note to say, Romeo? Romeo, he didn't call me Romeo, like he's busting my... You want the note to say, Romeo? I'm like, you work in a flower shop, you pussy. What are you busting my ball for? So I want the note to say, how about, hey, sorry for sodomizing you. Thanks for not pressing charges. Is that manly enough? I like movies about relationships. They always hit the nail right on the head. What are the big romantic movies of the last 15 years? Titanic. Titanic was so romantic. It was romantic because it was about two teenagers that knew each other for 2 days. They should have done it about a couple that had been together for a few years. Let's see how romantic they would have stayed during that whole crisis. Get in the goddamn boat, Rose. I didn't get in the boat. Get in the fucking boat. I'm freezing my ass off out here. I wanted to go to Jamaica. Like, no, I don't want to go to Jamaica. I read this Monsters Ball the other day. It's supposed to show you that love can triumph over racism, which is a great message, but the casting is ridiculous. You got Billy Bob Thornton playing a racist corrections officer who somehow manages to overcome his racism enough to have sex with Halle Berry. Wow, good to see people rise above the hate like that. It's Halle Berry. I'm pretty sure even the Grand Wizard of the KKK could have walked across that bridge. They wanted to make a big statement. It should have been like Brad Pitt and Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, that would have been sweet. You know, alcohol used to be illegal during Prohibition. It was illegal, but they sold it with a prescription for alcohol. You had to go to the doctor and get a prescription for alcohol. What would have to be wrong with you that alcohol fixes? You know, Doc, I don't know what my problem's been lately, but I've been having a really hard time waking up on my bathroom floor with puke all over me. I haven't forgotten where I parked my car in a long time, and, well, it's been months and months since I've even considered fucking a 400-pound Denny's waitress at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, that sounds very, very serious. Let me write you a prescription for tequila. That'll all clear right up. So it's not easy is what I'm trying to say. The whole relationship thing is brutal. And every couple has the same fights. Everybody in here has the same fights. How long have you been a couple? A long time there, sir? 6. 6. Talk about a mixed signal. Yeah, 2 hands is a lot to ask for, but you know, you could have gone just no hands and given them the verbal thing. Or I could have said 12. 12 years. 12. I only have 10. It's not, I guarantee that at that number of years you've had the same fights. I mean, I guarantee you've had the same fights I have with my wife. Every couple in here, everybody has the same fights. You know exactly. I don't have to tell you what the fights are. You know exactly what they are. The same shit over and over. You know the one where you're like bombing in an empty club in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and some toothless mullet head in the front row is like, "You ain't from around here, are you, boy?" And you're like, "Did you really just say that, you cliche-slinging mongoloid halfwit? Did that really just come out of your fucking head?" You're like, "You suck, you ain't funny at all." And you're like, "Hey, don't be mad at me because you caught your rat tail, the tilt-a-whirl at work today, fuckface, right?" I didn't tell you to drop out of high school and eat rock candy 12 hours a day for the last 15 years. I'm pretty sure you came up with that approach to life all by your own inbred cousin fucking self, you know? And then you get off stage, you start doing shots of tequila just to numb the pain, and then you're on the phone with your wife, and she's like, "Are you drunk?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm drunk. I'm in Tennessee. I'm gonna say drunk the whole goddamn time I'm here." "Well, I hate you gotta go on the road and get drunk all the time." "I hate going on the road too, my love, but I'm just trying to earn a fucking living here, okay? And if getting drunk is the only way I can anesthetize myself enough to entertain a bunch of freaks that I have nothing in common with, you would think you as my chosen one would show one goddamn shred of compassion. Well, I never would have married you if I knew you were gonna go on the road and get drunk all the time." "Yes, you would have, because I told you that's what I was gonna do, because that was my fucking lifestyle and it wasn't gonna change, which is why I said we shouldn't get married in the first place. But you fucking pressured me to get married because you women are fucking psychotic lunatics that they can't accept the person how he is. It's gotta be like, "Oh, let me mold and shape you into a neutered little puppy dog that fits my fucking needs perfectly. And by the way, did I forgive you when you fucked that guy? Because it's so lonely. You go away for months, you don't pay attention to my needs. You're too wrapped up in your own goddamn world." Have you had that one? Blah, 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 blah. And if you have kids, the whole thing gets crazy. If you have kids, it's like, you know, because especially if there's breastfeeding involved, because then, first of all, the pressures of kids. Are you going to breastfeed them? Are you not going to breastfeed them? You know, before they're even born, if it's a boy, do we get him circumcised? If it's a girl, do we keep her? There's so much shit to worry about. So much shit to worry about. We have to decide, and the doctors tell me, the doctor's like, you know, you don't have to get them circumcised. A lot of people aren't doing it. A lot of people aren't getting the kids circumcised. How many people aren't doing it? You know, I don't want to be a trendsetter when it comes to my kid's penis. I don't want my kid to be the only guy in the locker room with a dick that looks like it's about to rob a bank. And then the breastfeeding, of course. If there's breastfeeding, it's like, I did all the breastfeeding. I'm a goddess. I sustain life with my titties. I mean, I would have helped out. It looked like a nice warm moment with the kid. I wish I could have helped you if I could, but you have all the tits. What am I supposed to do? I mean, how hard can breastfeeding be? You sit there with your tit in his mouth. How hard can that be? If that was such a chore, my prom date deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. And they tell you to do it for years. It's like my wife nursed her son who was like a year old. Which is crazy, because at the beginning it's cute, there's an adorable little baby there, but by a year there's a fucking dude there. There's some midget running around, you know, sucking up my wife's titties in my own house. And he's my son, and I love him more than anything, but it got a little awkward between us, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd walk in the room, we'd lock eyes, he'd be like... Of course we look because we're like filthy animals. You know, it's like you can't, everything is, we're very visual as men. It's why these women, you know, it's like people are, they're wearing less and less clothes. I really feel like I'm 150 years old. I walk around, you look at these girls with these jeans that are cut. How much lower are these jeans going to go? They're cut fucking mid-vagina, for Christ's sake. They're clit huggers. You guys, they're walking around like clit huggers. You can see them in the store like, "Man, these jeans make my clit look fat. I got a really big day." Cleavage, fucking cleavage everywhere. You know, I was in Vegas recently, this woman had glitter makeup on her chest, glitter. And she caught me glancing over and she's like, "You have shiny shit on your tits. Were you looking to divert attention? That's not a good strategy. Why don't you hire a marching band and walk around you with neon titty sign? What are you looking at? What is your fucking problem? What is your fucking problem, pervert?" And this friend of mine told me, she goes, yeah, I dress this way to attract the guy, but I want to attract the right guy. I don't want to attract every slob on the street. That's how cleavage works. It's not a smart bomb. It's not a laser-guided weapon. You might hit your target, but there's also going to be a lot of collateral damage. That's how it goes. You might hit the guy in the Porsche, but you're also going to hit the guy with one tooth whacking off on the bus, and he kind of just accepts it. You got to just be happy you have that kind of power over men. There's nothing I can do to have that power over women. I can't walk around with my balls pressed together. Hello, girl. You know, a little glitter. Was I speeding, officer? Well, thank you all very, very much. Good night. Take care of yourself. Thanks. Thanks for coming.